Hi, this is Jim Mann with Homestyle Southern Cooking. Thank you so much for inviting me back in this afternoon. You know, this is Homestyle Southern Cooking, and one of the things that I'm going to bring you today is a very Southern traditional recipe. It's something that my grandmother, both my grandmothers, my mother, and I've made for years. I'm sure that you have your own recipe, but some of you might not. We're going to make just a plain bread pudding today. There's nothing more comforting and for soul searching and just comfort soul food than a really good bread pudding. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off, I've got 2 eggs here. I'm gonna put my eggs in my bowl. There's 1. There's 2. I got 2 eggs. And to that, I've got 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. Now at this point, I'm going to stir these up just a little bit. Make sure I get these eggs broke up. Okay, I've got 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Now, my grandmother said this was her secret ingredient, and I've looked at a lot of bread pudding recipes. I've never seen anybody else put ginger in it. She puts 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, did in hers. So that's what I've always done, so we'll continue doing so. Something else a lot of people do not add is add vanilla, but she added vanilla, so I'm going to add vanilla. I don't put a whole teaspoon, just slightly less than a teaspoon of vanilla into it. And I'll mix that up some. And then I've got 2 cups of milk. I'm gonna get this all mixed up and incorporated really, really good in my bowl here. That's something just comforting, you know, especially the holidays, we smell it a lot. The cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger and all the spices we associate with the holidays. But as far as the bread, I remember by the way, we're using 12 pieces of bread. They're a couple days old, and I set them out and let them get a little bit harder, and I cut them up. I'll show you in a minute. But how it all started is, my grandmother did especially also. She would make bread, she'd make biscuits, rolls, and they'd be up on her warming tray. And just one day she said, I don't want these to go bad. She might have had 3 biscuits, 2 rolls, and some bread. So she just pulled them apart, put them all together, and she made bread pudding. So it wasn't just one kind of bread, but I don't have all those. So when I make bread pudding, I just take regular bread, let it set out for a couple hours, and it gets sort of hard. I chop it up to small pieces like you see right here, and then I take it and I just pour it right into my mixture. All right, it's at this point where I'm mixing, I'm going to add 1 cup of raisins. Now you don't have to use raisins. Some people put raisins in the bread pudding, some don't. It's all a matter of personal preference. But you do want to make sure that you get all this bread coated with all the fluid on the bottom. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty simple. What we've done so far has been really, really simple. Now we're getting my baking dish, and I remember her used to take big hunks of lard and just greasing the things down, but thank goodness some things have improved. But it's something about the taste that was always so much better. All right, I've got this grease. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna pour my mixture right in here. My oven's set at 350. I'm gonna let this bake anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour. I'll push this in here. There's 1 poor little raisin. Let me get him out. And then we'll come out, and then we're gonna make a sauce to go on top of this. But already, look at that. Already it just looks wonderful. So, like I said, I'm gonna put this in the oven at 350 for about an hour. and then I'll be back to see you, and we're going to have some wonderful Southern style bread pudding. Our bread pudding is out of the oven, and I'll let it set here, and it's still a little hot to touch, but it's cooled down a little bit, and it looks absolutely beautiful, and it smells even better. So now we're going to start working on the top, the sauce for the top. In a microwavable bowl, I'm using a mixing cup. I've got 2/3 cups of sugar. To that, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of flour, all-purpose flour. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a cup of water here. I'm going to add just enough water to make like a paste, just to get this stirred up. So this way, it gives me a chance to get all the lumps and everything out of it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the cup of water to this. And I'm going to stir that up really well. Now, my next ingredients is I've got a stick of butter that's softened that I'm going to put in here. Okay. I'm going to stir this up too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the microwave, and I'm going to microwave it at increments of about 10 minutes until it gets a consistency that I like. Once I do that, I'll be back. So give me a few seconds to get this in the microwave, and like I said, I'm going to do every 10 seconds, and we'll stop and stir until I get to a thick consistency that I want. So I'll be back as soon. When this gets done, I'll be back. Okay, I went back and forth between 10 and 15 seconds intervals and stirred it, and this is what you want it to look like. See, it's almost like a custard. See, had that thickened up? That's exactly what you want. And now we're going to take this and we're going to pour it all over top of our bread pudding. We'll pour it all over it, all around the sides. All right. Now, I know a lot of people take it when they get through and poke holes in it, but my grandmother just used to take a knife and she just cut slots in it like this. And the reason why we're doing this is we want that sauce to get down into the bread pudding. So I'm just going to cut little slices in here, so hopefully that it will sink down in there. Okay, and that is our bread pudding. So now I'm going to get a bowl and I'm going to scoop some out, and I'll be back to you. Okay, I've got my spoon here, and I'm going to dig in the corner here and get me out of some of grandma's bread pudding. Look at that. Wow, the raisins and the sauce. Just look at that. But now I'm going to really top it off. I'm going to take a little bit of whipped cream, put a dollop of whipped cream on the top. And now this is the true test to dig into this. And I can't wait. That is Southern comfort all the way. Oh my goodness. That is so delicious that you would not believe. You've got to try this. I know I tell you all of them, but sometimes I just forgot how good that was. Wow, I'll make that again. Thank you so much for following me on Facebook and subscribing to me on YouTube. I've had some wonderful people write me this week about certain things about the recipes. Please remember to keep on telling your friends about the channel, and keep on. If you haven't subscribed, down at the bottom you'll see a subscribe and a little bell. If you'll hit that subscribe button and the little bell, every time I do a new recipe, they'll give you a notification that is a new recipe. You're my friends, you're my family, you're my support system. And I can remember sitting around my grandmother's table with a wood stove and where she cooked on, and I can remember this flavor and this taste. The memories are incredible. I hope you'll try it and make your own memories with your own family. You take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you. Thank you for having me in your house. This is Jim in Mexico saying, God bless.